Hello all, I am Guna Mathivanan. Welcome back to Simply Current Affairs. Hitlist series. So far we have covered almost 75 plus topics as part of this ongoing Hitlist series. Now we have around 50 plus days for our exam. So now I have decided to cover more number of topics in this time period. So till now in every video I was covering only one topic. From now, I am planning to cover at least 2 to 3 topics in every video. Number 2, regarding economic survey. As a part of the Hitlist series only, I am going to upload economic survey as well, like how I did for budget. Like that, I will be doing for economic survey. We will be covering all the 16 chapters given in this economic survey. So watch this series. It will be very, very useful for our upcoming prelims 2026. In today's video, we are going to discuss 2 important topics, interesting and important for our preliminary examination. The first topic is regarding the base year revision for GDP, CPI and Index of Industrial Production. Second topic is regarding double deflation. So first we will start with this base year. This base year is a reference year that helps us to understand the inflation in the current year, that helps us to understand the real growth in the current year. So without base year, for example, if I am trying to measure the prices, if I want to know whether the prices today is influenced by inflation or deflation, if I want to know whether the current prices are costlier or cheaper, if I want to know, I have to compare with some year. So for comparison, I will be choosing a base year. So this base year is being used, this concept of base year is being used in GDP calculation, in CPI calculation, in WPI calculation, in Index of Industrial Production calculation. In most of the indexes, you will be having this reference year. For GDP calculation, the base year previously it was 2011-2012. For Index of Industrial Production also it was same 2011-2012. Now this base year is being changed to 2022-2023. Similarly, if you take the consumer price index, the base year was 2012, that is now being changed to 2024. Now the question comes, reference year we are able to understand why this base year has to be changed. Now just imagine if I keep base year as 1947. Imagine I am keeping my reference year as 1947. We are in 2026. So when I compare the current prices with 1947 prices, in 1947 1 kg tomato might be available for 10 paise. Today 1 kg tomato it could be 50 rupees. Now when I compare with 1947 prices, it will appear that the current year there is very high inflation. Yes or no? Likewise, anything, even if you are going to compare the growth, production, in 1949, the case will be very, very different. Today, the case is much better, but you will see a very big deviation. It will appear that as if in 1947 production was nothing, in 26 the production is so high. It will appear as if in 1947 the prices were very low, and in 2026 the prices are very high. So we should not keep base year very far. At the same time, we cannot keep the base year very close also. If I keep base year as 2025, what will happen? See, when you compare the prices in 2026 and 2025, you will not see much difference. In 2026, 1 kg tomato, assume 50 rupees. In 2025 also, most probably, the tomato price could be 50 rupees. In 1 year, you will not see much price difference. So when you keep the base year very close, it will appear as if in the current year, there is no inflation. Similarly, last year, this year, if you compare the other parameters, it will give you an impression that the current year is more stable, nothing has been much disturbed. So 2 things we have to keep it in mind. While deciding the base year should not be very far from the current year. At the same time, the base year should not be very close with the current year also. It should be at a distance. It should be at a distance. Right. So we understood why the base year has to be revised. Great. Now at what interval it will be revised? Is there any specific grammar for revising the base year? There is no specific defined conditions or grammar and all. At regular intervals it has to be revised. So once in 5-6 years it will be revised. So the base year was 2004-2005 when Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. Then when Modi assumed the Prime Ministership during the NDA government, the base year was revised to 2011-12. Now it has been revised to 2022-23 if in the case of GDP and IIP. CPI it is 24. Now you might ask, sir, from 2011-12 they are bringing it to 2022-23. You just now you said that once in 4-5 years it will be revised, but why there is so much delay? See, while choosing a base year, you have to choose a very, very stable year. The year which you choose, that year should be stable. For example, that's the base year is the comparison year. You are comparing with that year. That year should be stable. If your base year is having war, in that year the inflation will be very, very high. The production will be largely affected. So when we choose a base year, you have to choose a stable year. So what happened in the year 2011-12 was our previous base year. Okay, 2011-12 was the previous base year. Now from here you see, in the year 2016 government introduced demonetization. Demonetization was also having an impact on the liquidity in the market that was affecting the growth in several quarters. In 2017 government introduced GST reforms. That reform, any change, when old is getting changed into new, something new comes, that will be followed by crisis. It will take some time to settle. So that is a reform year. 2018-2019 we were having the trade war. The Trump was in power in his first regime. There was trade war. So in 2019 India was experiencing a GDP slowdown. So 18-19 was also not a right year, because the trade war was also having an impact on our domestic economy. And 2020-2021, we all know COVID. I need not explain about the impact of COVID. So 2022-2023, of course there was Russia-Ukraine war, but when compared to all the previous years, 22-23 was relatively stable, was relatively a stable year. That is why government changed the GDP base year and IIP base year to 2011, from 11-12 to 2020-23. Okay, and when it comes to CPI, they took 2024 because, see, we know COVID. So we know COVID. This COVID resulted in lockdown. This lockdown resulted in GDP contraction. So to stimulate the economy after the lockdown, once vaccination was to some extent was possible, then government went for fiscal stimulus. So government went for fiscal stimulus, not just government, even the RBI was reducing the repo rates and government was increasing the money supply. Atmanirbhar package, 20 lakh crore worth money supply was infused into the economy. So all this physical stimulus and other monetary stimulus, all these resulted in growth. We were able to improve, no doubt. Growth also increased, inflation also increased. We were experiencing double-digit inflation. So with respect to inflation, it got settled in the year 2024. In 2024, the inflation was relatively settled. That is why for consumer price index, we chose inflation as 2024. Along with the base year revision for GDP, there was some changes introduced in the sources for calculation of GDP. See, look, GDP calculation methodology, nothing has been changed. The calculation method, nothing has been changed. Okay, that is we are following the same methodology. In 2015, method got changed from the output method was previously we were using product method. From 2015, we went for value addition method. That method is not getting changed. The sources to calculate GDP is now expanded. Along with the base year revision, government has expanded the sources for the GDP calculation. For example, previously the government was largely depending on MCA 21 data. MCA 21 is Ministry of Corporate Affairs 21st Century portal website. That data will give you an output information of around 5 lakh factories. So that data was a predominant source, but now government, along with the change in base year, they are expanding the sources. What new sources government is taking into consideration for calculation of GDP? Of course, GST information, e-Vahan portal. E-Vahan portal will give you an idea of number of automobiles being registered, through which we will come to know the output in the automobile sector. Public Financial Management System. This is a portal which was introduced in 2009, if I am not wrong. This portal will give you an idea of the implementation of various schemes. So the money spent on various schemes, real-time data government can see in this PFMS portal. How much, that is government side scheme implementation expenditures, all data will be available in this PFMS. Right. Along with that, we have periodic labor force survey data. Along with that, government is taking annual survey of unincorporated enterprises. That is the unorganized sector enterprises. All these data are also government is considering for the calculation of GDP. Right. So these changes were introduced. Most importantly, the base year got changed. This is topic number 1. Topic number 2. That is regarding double deflation. Double deflation. Now, let us take bread. The current price of the bread, let's assume 100. This current price, right, or we can say the nominal price of the bread is 100. This current price will have the influence of inflation. The current price will have the influence of inflation. So this 100 rupees bread price has the influence of inflation. Okay, so now we have to deflate it. We have to adjust to the inflation. So after inflation, the bread price might be 100, but the real price that could be 70 rupees. This is what we do it for GDP also, right? What is nominal GDP? When you calculate the GDP using the current price, that is called as nominal GDP. This current price generally has the influence of inflation. Now this nominal GDP value has to be adjusted to the inflation. When you adjust the nominal GDP to the inflation, what you will get is real GDP. So assume that only bread is being produced. Assume in the country only bread is being produced. So nominal GDP, let us say 100. After adjusting it to inflation, real GDP, assume it is 70 rupees. Assume that country is producing only 1 pack of bread. The nominal GDP is 100, real GDP is 70. So this is deflation. Okay, with the help of base year concept, we will be doing this deflation. Deflation means I am adjusting the nominal prices to the inflation. So we will be getting the real prices. Here, bread is the output. Okay, this bread is the output. Yes or no? Bread is the output. The output price, I am adjusting it to inflation. Right? That I am referring it as real prices. But in that is deflation. In double deflation, what government says? Don't just adjust the price of output. What is the input for the bread? The input for the bread is wheat. The input for the bread is wheat. Yes or no? The input for the bread is wheat or maida, whatever. I am assuming wheat. Output is bread. I am adjusting the output price. Similarly, why not adjust the input price also? Let's assume wheat price is 40 rupees. Let's assume wheat price is 40 rupees. Adjust the wheat price to the inflation. The input is wheat, wheat is 40 rupees per kg, assume. That also you adjust it. So while adjusting it, I am getting 35 rupees, assume. So in double deflation, what we are going to do is, generally nominal GDP is the GDP that is output calculated using the current price. Real GDP means what? I am adjusting the nominal GDP for the inflation. I am adjusting the output for the inflation. That is real. Now in the double deflation, what government says, don't just adjust the prices for the output, adjust the prices for the input also. Adjust the price for the input, adjust the price for the output, calculate it. That is called as double deflation. This is just a term, don't think too much. Don't go into the calculations here. What you have to know in double deflation is the nominal GDP, that is, we measure the GDP at current prices, that includes, generally, that includes the influence of inflation. I want to remove that inflation part, then I will adjust the GDP for inflation and I will be getting real GDP. Real GDP is nominal GDP adjusted to inflation. So here we are adjusting only the output price. Adjust also the input price and then you calculate. Adjust the input price for the inflation, adjust the output price for the inflation. That is called as double deflation. It's just a concept. Just understand this. Output is also adjusted, input is also adjusted. If you are going to think beyond and if you are going to put some numbers and calculate, then you will be confused. From our exam point of view, this much is sufficient. I hope you got clarity on both the topics. Both the topics are very important. So I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye. Take care from Guna Mathivanan.